Hello, my name is Miana Bold, and the topic that I decided to cover was the effects of antibiotics and pesticides in the food that we eat. I took a few notes, so if I'm looking down at my notebook right here, sorry. So I chose this topic because I actually didn't really know a lot about it. I remember when the wave of organic food sort of came through, but I didn't realize what the hype was about, why it was so important. I didn't realize what the antibiotics and the pesticides were doing to the food and why they were even being put in there in the first place. So I was just very ignorant about this topic, and I was interested to learn more about it and maybe learn about more about what I should and shouldn't be putting in my body. So to start with, the antibiotics. Antibiotics would seem not very harmful at first, but when you overuse antibiotics, and you higher the dosage or you use it very often, the bacteria can start to become resistant to the antibiotic, and therefore it won't work, and the bacteria thrives. So when they put the antibiotics in our food and we ingest it, in turn, the bacteria can start becoming resistant to us and to our immune system, and therefore it would weaken the immune system and make you more susceptible and more vulnerable to sickness, to viruses, to things like that, which is why that's so dangerous. Pesticides. Pesticides are any chemical that was created to get rid of bugs or weeds or anything like that, but the dangerous chemicals in it actually cause a lot of harm to infants. So when a woman is pregnant, in the prenatal stages, and if her child, has has too many pesticides in the system, it can damage their brain actually, and it can stunt the growth of their brain. It can stunt the growth of their nerve system, and it's just very dangerous. And sometimes a study said that it won't surpass when the infant is born. However, some of those effects definitely do stay with the kid after when they get older, and it's harder for them to learn. They have lower IQ scores, and it can also lead to pesticides. They can lead to memory loss, and that can in turn actually lead to Alzheimer's, which is a really, really bad and really deadly disease. And the exposure of the exposures of pesticides in your body, um, when it's like released into the liver, it causes your liver to produce excess glucose, and it actually gives people diabetes, and that's why that is so dangerous. So the solutions that I came across were actually pretty minimal. So the EPA came out with regulations on the amount of pesticides and antibiotics and such and chemicals that farmers can use, but even though they're in lower dosages, they're still in our food and we're still ingesting them, and they're still just as harmful, especially long term. And the problem also with organic food is that yes, it's healthier, but it is not as it's not as accessible to everybody, and it's also more expensive. But overall, I would say I would try to eat more organically, and whenever I can't, just wash the food very thoroughly, make sure it's clean, and it also helps to just eat like healthy foods, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, because that can actually in turn help fight off some of the bad bacteria in your body and the pesticides and that the pesticides and the biotics might cause.